We need to talk about weight loss today. The theory, this is one of those failed medical theories. For over 75 years, the prevailing medical theory was that people are overweight and obese because they eat too much and don't get enough exercise. And what do we get for following that concept of eating too much and lack of exercise is the cause of being overweight and obese? For 75 years, we became the number one obese nation in the world. We're number one. And so really then, when you look at this, what is the basic root cause of being overweight and obese? It's certainly not lack of exercise and eating too much. That's failed us. Dealing with that concept made us number one obese nation in the world. Well, the answers are in 3 books. Epigenetics, of course, the newest one. This book is flat off the shelf. Epigenetics, the death of the genetic theory of disease transmission. And certainly, being overweight and obese is not a genetic thing. It's a simple nutritional deficiency. And then the book Rare Earths of Incures goes into the mineral deficiencies that drive appetite. When you're deficient in any of the essential minerals, your appetite goes up. There's 3 of these minerals. When you're deficient in them, you're going to be one of these 400-pound, 600-pound, 800-pound, 1,200-pound people, okay? If you're deficient in all of them, you're in real trouble weight-wise, okay? And then, of course, the one that deals exclusively with weight loss goes into all the research, both my own as well as many, many hundreds of other people, Hell's Kitchen, the book and the CD. Hell's Kitchen, the book and CD. The subtitle is The Cause, Prevention, and Cure of Obesity. Nobody else knows the cause, prevention, and cure of obesity except me. Why is that? Because everybody else is still following the failed theory that obesity and being overweight is caused by eating too much and lack of exercise. It's just absolutely, positively not true. Okay, so now let's look at this seriously. In animals, when they're missing these nutrients, they will begin to eat dirt. They'll chew on wood. They'll chew on fences and stalls and barns. And if it's a horse, the horse farmer, the rancher, will call it cribbing. Okay, and he knows to give those horses minerals, and they'll stop eating dirt and chewing on the fence and eating the rails in the barn and so on. Save himself a lot of money and add many health years to the life of that horse. A kindergarten teacher, when she sees a kid eating dirt, she'll call it pica, P-I-C-A. And essentially it's the same thing as cribbing in horses. And when he asks Grandma, why is the dog eating grass when you first let him outside in the spring and inside all wintertime? You're just giving him meat, ground up meat, bones. He runs outside and starts eating grass. He's got big, long fangs. Why is he eating grass? Well, you could call it pica. You could call it cribbing. But really, Grandma would say he's missing something. Grandma knew that and started making him bone soup and so forth. And within 3 or 4 days, he stops eating grass. And so we need to do the same thing. So we came up with what we call the Healthy Weight Loss Pack. It's actually one of the concepts of the Healthy Start Pack plus the secret sauces. And, of course, what we do is give 1 Healthy Start Pack per 100 pounds of body weight. All right, it's 1 per 100 pounds of body weight. And then you throw in the ASAP. ASAP. ASAP is as slim as possible, as soon as possible. And you take a dropper full under your tongue 30 minutes before each meal for each 50 pounds you want to lose. Let's say you want to lose 35 to 50 pounds. I put 1 dropper full of the ASAP under your tongue 30 minutes before meals. In a couple of days, you're going to lose anywhere from a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. And you stay on your 90 essential nutrients appropriate for your body weight, you'll never gain the weight back. When you arrive at where you want to be. Let's say you go from 150 pounds, you want to get down to 115. And then you can stop the ASAP and just continue on with the Healthy Start Packs appropriate for your body weight. Okay, now let's say you need to lose 75 pounds. I would use 2 of the Healthy Start Packs, which is part of the Healthy Weight Pack. 1 full dose for your breakfast, 1 full dose for your dinner time. And then you're going to need 2 dropper fulls, which will mean 2 bottles a month of the ASAP. 1 dropper full under your tongue 30 minutes before each meal, and then a second dropper full under your tongue 15 minutes before each meal. And again, within a couple of days or a week or so, you're going to begin to lose a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. We constantly have people who lose 140 pounds in 100 days. We constantly have people who lose 60 pounds in 45 days. This is very, very simple because we're dealing with the root cause of being overweight and obese, a simple nutritional deficiency. This has been shown to be true over and over and over, many experiments in laboratory animals and human beings. We've been doing this for 36 years. In fact, the first clinic I bought in Portland, Oregon, when I was practicing there many years ago, 1978, was a weight loss clinic, a bariatric clinic. I noticed that people were coming in every week or every month to get the prescriptions filled for thyroid, for drugs to subdue their appetites. They'd lose a couple of pounds, but they gain them back. They'd lose a couple of pounds and gain them back. They never really achieved any serious weight loss. And so I said, their behavior, when I look at the charts, reminded me of animals who were minerally deficient. So we started giving them minerals, and everybody started to lose half a pound to 2 pounds a day. And they kept it off as long as we gave them the 90 essential nutrients. The book, Epigenetics, the book, Hell's Kitchen, and the book, Rare Earths and Cures, and you'll be a weight loss expert. We're back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie after these messages. Okay, we've got Billy sitting in today for Doug. Billy, what pearls of wisdom do you have for us?
Well, Doc, I have two different stories today, and they're I will tie them together in just a moment. They're on the surface quite different. But the first is officials in Brazil last year performed a C-section on a 37-year-old woman only to discover, after they started the C-section, that the woman was not pregnant. Simone Carvalho was a spokesperson for the health department in the coastal city of Cabo Frio. She said Tuesday that the woman told doctors at the women's hospital that she was 41 weeks pregnant and in pain. Carvalho said one reason the doctors believed she was pregnant was because she had the symptoms associated with pregnancy and she had nausea as well as an enlarged abdomen. So that's the first story I want to talk about, and I'm going to go back to this in just a second. The second story is the FDA chief had quite a problem with the drug Zohydra, the painkiller. Criticism kept intensifying, and to the point where he finally had to consider doing something about all these complaints he was receiving. The FDA commissioner told the Senate lawmakers that the recently launched Zohydra fills an important and unique niche in treating chronic pain. But they began receiving complaints about the drug because it became apparent that it was pretty potent and pretty strong. My question in both of these cases is, are there not procedures to ensure that before you operate on somebody as a C-section, that in fact the person's pregnant, and if you're launching a drug or the drug has been recently launched, is there not a procedure to make sure after the drug is launched that in fact all the research was correct in the first place and the drug is in fact safe? Are there medical procedures that should be followed, Doc?
Well, absolutely, especially if a woman were to come into an emergency room and say, I'm pregnant, the first obligation they have in the emergency room is to confirm that. And there is a 2-minute blood test, and there's a 2-minute urine test. I mean, you can go to a drugstore, pharmacy, if we're going to say so, on a prescription, or even a grocery store, get the self-testing pregnancy test. And so they can't say, well, it's a long procedure, going to take 3 days, blah, blah, blah. It's all nonsense. And so especially if the doctor who's supposed to be monitoring that pregnancy was not present or couldn't be contacted, definitely there needs to be a confirming test. Then, of course, I believe at the same time, the doctor who's going to do the procedure should have a breathalyzer test to see if he's intoxicated on alcohol. They should have a urine test to see if they have been taking street drugs or prescription drugs that can impair their ability to make decisions and perform their task. And that would stop a lot of this. So there's a very similar thing that happened in Orlando, Florida about 5 years ago. You may remember this, Billy, that a girl, she's 28 years old, it was her first pregnancy. She went in to have her baby delivered, and she's a low-income family, and so she went to one of the county health facilities for her and pregnancy monitoring. The doctor was called off the golf course, who had been her doctor, comes there. First thing he does is he cuts her arms and legs off. Then he delivers the baby. He cut her arms and legs off, then he delivers the baby because he was under the influence of street drugs and he was hallucinating. Never lost his job.
It's amazing.
It goes on all the time. They cut off, or they'll take out the healthy lung, leave the cancerous lung in. We're talking a big mess in the medical system. So we need to do a lot of this testing ourselves to protect ourselves. Another day. Thank you, Billy. Great job there. Okay, Billy, let's go to callers.
All right, let's head to sunny Florida. And Amy, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, Amy, you're on the air.
Yes, Dr. Wallach, can you hear me?
Okay, I have to speak up just a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
That's better.
Okay. This is on regards to my husband. He survived a motorcycle accident last year, and they ended up having to amputate his leg above the knee due to artery disease. They could not restore blood flow. And as he was recovering...
Wait a minute. You say he has what disease that prevents him from absorbing minerals?
No. I said they had to amputate his leg because there was arterial disease. They could not restore blood flow.
Oh, okay. Arterial disease. Okay.
Yes. And he contracted MRSA while in the hospital.
Okay.
Okay. They gave him 3 14-day courses of vancomycin. And they wanted to start another course, but I would not allow that. The wound still heals. And since then, he has also received a diagnosis of high-level prostate cancer, and he has a history of high blood pressure. Please help me help my husband.
Sure. Okay, prostate cancer, high blood pressure, lack of blood flow through his legs. Does he still have the MRSA infection?
It has not been tested, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Okay.
How much does your husband weigh?
180 pounds. He's put on 30 pounds since he's been out of the hospital.
Okay. Well, we got to go by his permanent weight, 180 pounds. Tell me, did your husband have any history of asthma or bronchitis?
No.
Did he have any history of skin problems, eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis?
No.
Okay. Did he have any history of bowel problems, constipation, diarrhea, celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, anything like that?
Nope.
Okay, good. Okay, first of all, we got to make sure he maximizes his absorption of nutrients. I want him to get rid of all the bad stuff out of his diet. Get rid of all the inflammatory things, which is going to drive the prostate cancer. So we want to get rid of the inflammatory things for a variety of reasons. Protect his arteries, as well as raise his immune system to defend against the cancer. Hang on. We'll come back. We'll give you the time. We'll give you the program after these messages. Okay, Billy, going right back to Florida and Amy. So again, absolutely no fried foods because they turn into trans fatty acids, heterocyclamines, acrylamides, terrible chemicals that either create cancer or drive existing cancer. No processed meats with nitrates, nitrites. That actually means no deli slices, no sandwich meats, no sausage, ham, bacon, bologna, salami, pastrami, pepperoni, and jerky. No oils. That means absolutely no olive oil. Absolutely no coconut oil, no margarine, mayonnaise, salt, cooking oils, and no gluten. We want to maximize the absorption of the nutrients also. So no gluten, no wheat, barley, rye, or oats. Then from a supplement program for a 180-pound guy, I'd have you give him 2 of the Healthy Brain and Heart packs per month. That will allow him to have 3 selenium, 3 of our ultimate selenium, twice a day, 3 at breakfast, 3 at dinner. I'd also get an extra bottle of selenium by itself, so he could have actually 9 of those a day, 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner. Then I want him to have 1 ounce of the Osteo FX Plus at breakfast and dinner, 2 scoops of the Beyond Tangerine 2.0 NutriCrystals at breakfast and dinner, 3 of the EFA Pluses at breakfast and dinner, 3 of the EFAs at breakfast and dinner, and all that will be accomplished by the 2 Healthy Brain and Heart packs and the extra bottle of selenium. Then for the high blood pressure, I would have him take 1 bottle a month of the Ultimate Daily tablets. I'd have him take 3 of those Ultimate Daily tablets twice a day, 3 at breakfast, 3 at dinner. That will be accomplished by the 1 healthy bottle of the Ultimate Daily tablets per month. And this will also help with increasing blood flows to obstructed arteries in the legs, as well as supporting the healthy blood pressure. Now, because you feel like he still has this MRSA infection, I would have him take 9 of the Killer Biotic capsules a day, 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner. There'll be 3 bottles a month. And they're a blend of 8 herbs which support the immune system, 2 of which have antimicrobial properties. And so I want you to give him 9 of those a day, 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner. There'll be 3 bottles a month of the Killer Biotic. And that's to actually support his immune system, and 2 of them have antimicrobial properties. And then topically, if you have an open wound where the MRSA is, If there's an open wound, then he needs, whether it's an ulcer or a dripping fistula, a little puncture hole that's not closing, or there's a laceration that's obviously infected and red and all swollen around it, use our colloidal silver neat. In other words, use a colloidal silver or Envision colloidal silver straight. Don't dilute it with anything. And soak a cotton ball with it, and 2 or 3 times a day, keep that local infection site wet with our Envision colloidal silver for 10, 15 minutes 3 times a day. Don't forget PureWorks for the rest of your husband and yourself, too. Everybody's got to stay away from nurses, so don't forget our PureWorks. We're back at
Well, Doc, let's head to the lovely High Sierra community of Bishop, California, and Charles-Dean. Charles-Dean, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Charles-Dean, you're on the air.
Hi, I'm a dog groomer, and I have a fairly new client. It's a Bichon, a 16-year-old female, about 10 pounds, and she's just moved up here from Southern California, and this dog has a horrible skin condition from about the shoulders back to the hips, about a 3-inch wide strip, and the vets say that it was a chronic pyrogranulomous dermatitis and panculitis and something with crusting, and this has been going on since May. These tests were done in June, and she's been on really high potency antibiotics. She's not any better. I suggested that I made up a spray of tea tree oil with distilled water and the minerals, and then followed it behind with the lavender raven sorrel in the water and minerals, and misted it, and gave her some Flora FX and some Jojoba Omega, and she's been on that for about 10 days, and it's not any worse. And I just gave her some beta-glucan 300 yesterday when she came by, so I was just wondering if there was something else we might try to do for this poor little guy. It's very tender, very sore. It's got little scabs on it, and the hair is starting to grow back. But I mean, this has been going since May. It's sad.
Yeah. Okay. And when you have a situation like this, you've heard of hot spots on dogs, right? You've heard of hot spots on dogs where they lick, they scratch. I want to know what kind of food this dog is eating. Does it have whole grains in it?
No, she cooks her own, and it's just the dog is allergic to everything except lamb. She's got terrible allergies of all kinds of things.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the problem. Does the owner eat grains? Does the owner eat oatmeal for breakfast and have toast and that kind of stuff?
I don't think so, but I'll double check and see. She's pretty savvy on a lot of this nutritional stuff, but I will double check and see.
Yeah. Well, when you have these kind of things, almost always, and I'm sure the veterinarian did scrapings and looked to see if there was mange and demodectic mange and regular scabies and so forth, and it's easily eliminated. And I didn't hear anything about that, so I'm assuming they did those tests and looked for little mange mites and eliminated that possibility. But also, the next in line is could be a granulomatous dermatitis. It could be in a patch. It could be in a strip. It could be kind of like pimples all over the dog, dry skin. It licks between its toes, scratches his back on everything, lays there and wiggles and scratches his back, all kinds of stuff. And these things respond only to a gluten-free diet and the 90 essential nutrients, which include, and you got close there, by the omegas. At 10 pounds, I go ahead and give that dog 2 of our EFAs a day. You can also have, we can try 3 of the multi-omegas, which is an evening primrose oil. But the EFAs are made from flaxseed oil and borage oil. If the dog will eat it, or I guess you're bigger than the 10-pound dog, you make it and put it down its throat and make it swallow it, or the EFA pluses, which are fish oils. Wouldn't hurt to give 1 fish oil capsule at breakfast and 1 of the EFAs at dinner time, or the multi-omegas, 3 of those a day because they're smaller. And they get the omegas into this dog, and double check that there's no gluten in the entire household. I mean, nobody's got to be eating gluten. There can be no gluten in the house. No bagels, no cereal. And people are going to have to get their carbohydrates from rice, from baked sweet potatoes with butter, millet, buckwheat, which is not wheat, no wheat, barley, rye, or oats. We're talking about bread and sandwich buns. We're talking about French toast. We're talking about raisin bran cereal, anything that has wheat, barley, rye, and oats in it. Okay? That would include beer. That would include scotch and bourbon. There's wheat and barley and rye and oats and everything. Pepperoni, summer sausage, things of that nature. Salami, bologna. All these sausages are filled with wheat because the wheat is a lot cheaper than the meat. And then, of course, they use wheat to thicken gravy. They use breadcrumbs and meatballs and meatloaf. And so let's say somebody goes to Olive Garden, they bring back their wonderful meatballs, and they give it to a dog that is gluten intolerant. The breadcrumbs and the cracker crumbs and the meatballs can certainly set off a skin reaction like this. From a topical standpoint, we have the CM cream, which should be used topically on the dog. I would also use to stop the itching and inflammation. I would also use our Arthrodex, a 10-pound dog. You give it a half a scoop of the Arthrodex in its food each day, maybe a quarter of a scoop twice a day. And it's got to be complete dog food. It can't be mama cooking lamb for this dog. That ain't going to work over the long haul. You got to find a hypoallergenic, gluten-free canned dog food made from eggs or chicken or whatever it is. But it's got to be complete dog food with all the vitamins, minerals, and amino acids and essential fatty acids added to it. And then we're going to have success here. Call us back after you've done these things. Let me know how quickly this little dog resolve this problem, because it will happen quick when we hit the right buttons. Okay, Billy, let's go to callers.
All right, Doc, let's head to Tennessee and Patricia. Patricia, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Patricia, you're on the air.
Yes, I've been on the Healthy Pack for about 2 weeks. I had AFib, and they put me on Coumadin, but I was able to get off of that. So basically, I'm not taking any medicine, and I'm doing pretty well, but I want to, take care of my heart. And
okay, how much do you weigh? How much you weigh, Patricia?
I weigh 168.
Okay. Do you have any skin problems or any history of respiratory problems?
No, I have allergies.
Okay.
All the.
You ever have constipation or diarrhea?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. When you say you have allergies, are any of these respiratory allergies where you get asthma or wheezing or bronchitis?
It's in my head. I mostly have sinus. I have to keep my nose washed out and all that to keep from getting infections.
Okay. Do you have a back problem?
No.
Okay. I believe you do. If you have AFib, almost always it's related to a back problem. You don't necessarily have to have pain, have a back problem. And how old are you, dear?
I'm 76.
Okay. And when you were 20 years old, how tall were you?
I was about 5'4".
And how tall are you now?
I'm about 5'2".
Okay, so you lost 2 inches in height. So you have a back problem. You have degenerative disc disease, and what's happening is the discs are getting thinner, the vertebrae are getting closer together, and they're smashing the roots of the spinal nerves coming out from between T1, 2, 3, and 4. You're getting those roots of the spinal nerves smashed between the first 4 thoracic vertebrae, and they control the rate and the rhythm of the heart. And the reason why you have AFib is because you've lost 2 inches in height because of degenerative disc disease. Now, hang on. We'll come back with a diet and a supplement program to help you out here, dear. We'll be back after these messages. We're back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network. Dr. Joel Wallach here for Young Judy, 9 for Life Crusade. And Billy, let's go right back to Tennessee and Patricia. Okay, I want you to move up a little bit. I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. That's going to allow you to have 3 selenium capsules twice a day. That's going to be specifically for heart muscle. 1 ounce of the OsteoFX Plus at breakfast and dinner. That's for your vertebrae and your bones and your disc between the vertebrae. I want you to take 2 of the healthy Beyond Cane Tangerine scoops, NutriCrystals 2.0 at breakfast and dinner. 3 of the EFA Pluses at breakfast and dinner, and 3 of the EFAs at breakfast and dinner. All that will be accomplished by the 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. I want you to get also 2 bottles a month of the de-stress capsules. This is also going to be for heart metabolism. I want you to take 3 of those twice a day. That'll be 2 bottles a month. And lastly, I want you to get the glucogel. I want you to take 2 bottles of glucogel. That would be 15 a day, 5 at breakfast, 5 at lunch, 5 at dinner. And they're designed to support and promote healthy maintenance and repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue. Here we go. Disc between the vertebrae. Help them get fatter and juicier. Push the vertebrae apart and take the pressure off the roots of those nerves. Give me a call every couple of weeks, if you would, please, Patricia, and we'll walk you through this. Okay, Billy, let's see if we can squeeze in one more here.
All right, Doc, let's stay in Tennessee, and this time we'll talk to James. James, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Yes, I like 2 things, and then eye floaters, what I can take for that, and if you can explain what gluten is.
Okay, I missed the first one. I got the floaters, but what was it before the floaters?
Nothing before the floaters. Just
okay.
Could you explain gluten?
Okay. Well, first of all, gluten is a protein that's found in wheat, barley, rye, and oats. In oats, it's called gliadin, and some people say, well, we have gluten-free oats, but that's not true. It's still gluten. It's just called a different name. It's called gliadin. So, again, it's a protein found in wheat, barley, rye, or oats. Some people are quite capable of digesting it and not having a problem. Others, as many as 70% in any one particular community, might have a intolerance. It's not an allergy. You can't do an allergy test for wheat and determine if you have a gluten intolerance. The only way you can determine it by a laboratory test is by a biopsy of your intestine. You don't want to do that. You just get off of gluten, and you'll know in a couple of weeks. Eczema goes away, asthma goes away, diarrhea, constipation go away. All kinds of things begin to happen in a positive way when you get gluten-free if you're gluten intolerant. It's like nobody's allergic to poison ivy, but everybody gets a contact dermatitis when you rub poison ivy on you. This is not an allergy to wheat, barley, rye, or oats. It's a gluten intolerance. What happens is you get a contact enteritis, and enteritis is the term for inflammation lining the intestine, just like dermatitis is a term for inflammation of your skin. Okay. Now, floaters are remnants of a artery when you were an embryo that actually fed the growing lens in your eye. When you were born, it dried up and fractured into little fragments, kind of like your belly button comes from your cord, your umbilical cord. It'll dry up and just fracture into dry little pieces. So floaters, some people don't see them until they're older than 50, 60 years of age because their eyeball changes shape and the light refracts in a different way. I could see mine when I was 6 years old. I used to play with them because one of them had a joint in the middle of it, and I could move it around. It would be like a beckoning finger. I can still see that one. And I still use it as therapy. When I'm talking, I play with it a little bit myself. They're not parasites. Floaters are certainly not anything bad as far as cancer or anything like that. They're not malignancies. They don't mean anything. They're just remnants of that embryonic artery that fed the blood to the developing lens in your eyes, an embryo. And when you can see them, it means that your eyeball is changing enough. The light will refract everything. You put sunglasses on, and it really reduces the ability to see them. You might be able to reduce your size just a little bit by taking lots of antioxidants with your 90 essential nutrients. Certainly, you want to stay away from inflammatory things, which can cause inflammation because they're like little foreign bodies, but they've been there your whole life. They're meaningless as far as disease indications. A great question there, James. Well, thank you, Billy. Thank you, Richard. Superlative job as usual. God bless each and every one of you. God bless our troops. God bless our Navy SEALs. And God bless America.